Chapter 9. The Nembutsu is true and real. Quote, "In this fleeting world, this burning house, all matters without exception are empty and false, totally without truth and sincerity. The Nembutsu alone is true and real." End quote. The above words of Shinran Shonin summarizes many of the teachings presented in this book. All matters without exception are empty and false. That is, all samsaric phenomena are empty of themselves, and by being empty, they are also a lie. That is, without truth. A magical display, an illusion, and ultimately not real. The Nembutsu alone is true and real because it is the name manifested by Amida Buddha from ultimate reality and Buddha nature itself. It is part of the Dharmakaya as compassionate means, which is inseparable from the Dharmakaya of Dharma nature. As Buddhas are truly awake, the word Buddha means the awakened one. They constantly invent methods to take us out of the dream world and bring us to the true reality of Buddha nature. Among these methods, the easiest to use by ordinary people filled with heavy illusions and blind passions is the Nembutsu of faith and Amida. Did it happen to you to be in a nightmare, and you did a certain thing to get out of it and awake? For example, when I was a child, blinking my eyes in the dream was the quickest way for me to escape a nightmare. It is the same with the Nembutsu of faith. We are saying Namo Amida Bu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Bu, or the Nembutsu, in the dream of samsara, with our minds that are sleeping minds. But this Namo Amida Bu is the means through which Amida guides us out of the sleep. The name works because it is not part of the dreaming world, but of the true reality. So by saying we enter into Amida's influence, and thus on the path to awakening. In the nightmare of repeated births and deaths, we say the Nembutsu of faith, and after a while, depending on how long or short our life is, we die in the dream and wake up as Buddhas in the pure land of Amida. Then our true and real life begins as awakened ones, helping other beings to wake up from their own nightmares. We think that we dream when we are sleeping, and that we are now awake because we do not sleep. In fact, we just go from one dream to another. In all these wanderings, the name of Amida is the only contact we have with the world of reality and enlightenment, with Amida Buddha and his pure land. Although we say it in the dream, the Nembutsu is the only element that does not belong to the dream. The name of Amida is not part of samsara, but the world of enlightenment. When we say the Nembutsu of faith, we enter the stage of non-retrogression for discovering this ultimate reality that we will attain upon leaving our present samsaric bodies. Shinran Shonin explained how the ultimate reality of Amida Buddha is Dharmakaya of Dharma nature, represented in the following passage by the word suchness, as well as all his manifestations for the sake of saving sentient beings, that is, glorious body of skillful means, Dharmakaya as compassionate means, are included in his name, which is thus called the Great Practice. Quote, "It is the treasure sea of merits of true suchness, ultimate reality. For this reason it is called Great Practice. The 10 repetitions of the name arise from the unsurpassed faith by taking as object the name of Amida Tathagata, of a glorious body of skillful means that comprises immeasurable merits that are true and pure." End quote. Attention here, please. The name is manifested by Amida from true suchness, Dharmakaya of Dharma nature. However, the saying of the name on our part does not mean we understand suchness in the here and now, but that we have faith in Amida Tathagata of a glorious body of skillful means. That is, in Amida, manifested as Dharmakaya of compassionate means, or Sambhogakaya. We are not supposed to dwell in ultimate reality while we are still in our samsaric bodies, and we cannot actually have faith in Dharmakaya of Dharma nature, which is beyond anything we can conceive with our unenlightened minds. This is why we need Amida Buddha in form and name, as was explained in the larger sutra by Shakyamuni. However, Amida as Dharmakaya of compassionate means, that is, his transcendental manifestation in the Pure Land and his name, are never separated from his Dharmakaya of Dharma nature. This is why the Nembutsu is true and real, and contains all the myriad enlightened qualities of Buddha nature. Honen Shonen gave us a very important teaching on the contents of the name of Amida Buddha. Please listen carefully to his words and my explanations. Quote, the Japanese designation of Amitabha, Amida, consists of only 3 characters, A-mi-da. Within this name, however, is the merit of the inner realization of Tathagata Amida and his external activities, as well as the merit of Buddha Shakyamuni's extremely profound teachings, which are as numerous as the grains of sand in the Ganges. Who can fathom this? Master Shantao in the chapter Essentials of the commentary on the Meditation Sutra interpreted this name thus. The Chinese term for Amida Buddha, Amitofo, is a transliteration of the language of India. It was interpreted into Chinese as enlightened one whose life is immeasurable. Immeasurable life points to the Dharma, and enlightened one is a person. Both the Buddha and the person are combined into enlightened one whose life is immeasurable. Accordingly, he is referred to as Amitafu. Therefore, all of the merits of the teachings, the meditative practices on the phenomenal aspect of reality and the nominal principle, the unmatched power acquired through meditation and wisdom, the wisdom of inner realization, and the merit of external activities as well as of the virtues and undefiled enlightenment of Tathagata Amida, Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva Mahasabha Prapta, Bodhisattva Samantabhadru, Bodhisattva Manjushri, Bodhisattva Shidigarbha, Nagarjuna, and all the Bodhisattvas and Shravakas of the Pure Land are encompassed in the 3 characters of the name of Amida. This being so, would there be any Dharma not included in the teaching for birth in the Pure Land? End quote. The above teachings of Master Honen and Master Shantao are extraordinary. The name we say as Nembutsu in the formula of Namo Amida Bu or any other way, Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitabha, etc., contains the enlightenment of Amida Buddha himself, that is, his wisdom of inner realization, which includes all the 32 innate qualities that I talked about at chapter 5, and all his manifestations for the sake of saving sentient beings, that is, his external activities. More than this, by listing other Buddhas and enlightened Bodhisattvas, that is, Buddhas who manifest as Bodhisattvas, Master Honen implies that in fact the inner realization or enlightenment and activities or manifestations of all Buddhas are included in Amida's name. The names given there, Amida, Avalokiteshvara, Mahasattva Prapta, Samantabhadra, Manjushri, Shidigarbha, or the enlightened ones of the Pure Land, etc., do not indicate a closed list, but are a hint to the fact that all Buddhas are included, as those names are connected with many other Buddhas too. Therefore, there is no Buddhist practice and no Buddhist teaching that is not included in the name of Amida. Although we cannot follow all teachings and practices through our own power, if we rely on Amida Buddha and say his name in faith, we automatically fulfill all Dharma gates because all are included in the Nembutsu. Master Honen continues, quote, the 3 Japanese characters in the name of Amida, A-mi-da, are interpreted by other Buddhist schools in a number of different ways. The Shingon school teaches that the letter A in the Sanskrit alphabet indicates the origin of all phenomena and the state of non-production, and that the letter A produces 42 Sanskrit characters. All existence is contained in the letter A, therefore. The name of Amida is considered to be most meritorious. The Tendai school teaches the theory of the 3 aspects of truth articulating ultimate reality, the truths of emptiness, temporariness, and the middle path, the doctrine of the 3 causes leading to Buddhahood, the innate Buddha nature, the wisdom discerning the ultimate principle, and virtuous deeds that cultivate wisdom. The teaching of the three bodies of a Buddha: the Dharma body, the rewarded body, and the transformed body, or Trikaya doctrine, and the merits possessed by a Tathagata. These theories are all contained in the three characters of the name of Amida. Hence, the merit of the letters is considerable. As illustrated, each school has interpreted the three letters in the name of Amida from its own doctrine's perspective. Now, the essence of our Pure Land school is the belief that the three characters, Amida, embody the entire Buddhist teachings, including the theory of the Shingon school that the letter A in the Sanskrit alphabet indicates the origin of all phenomena and the state of non-production. The teachings of the oneness of the three aspects of truth taught by the Tendai school, the theory that the middle path emerges from the eightfold negation taught by the Sanron school, the theory of the 5 levels of contemplation from the principles of mind only of the Hefso school, basically all of the Dharma in the universe. This is because no Buddhist doctrines are excluded from the teaching for birth in the Pure Land. Nevertheless, the heart of the vows of Amida Buddha does not expect one to believe in all of the above. You will come to receive all beings who simply recite Nembutsu with deep devotion. End quote. Even if we do not understand the above teachings of the Buddhist schools listed by Honen Shonen, we are amazed to hear that all of them are comprised in the name of Amida, and so, if we say the name in faith, it is as if we fulfill all of them. Of course, our spiritual capacities being limited, we cannot follow and practice anything related with the self-power paths like Shingon, Tendai, Sanron, Hosso, or others. So we cannot say that we have any merit in this. It is the name of Amida that is meritorious, pure and perfect, and because of it we will be able to reach the goal of all Buddhist paths, teachings and practices, the discovery of Buddha nature with its enlightened qualities. I will not insist on the Tendai, Hosso and Sanron, but I would like to say something about the Shingon teachings on the letter A. In the Japanese English Buddhist dictionary it is explained, quote, meditation on the Sanskrit letter A is the most important meditation in esoteric Buddhism. The sound A is regarded as the source from which all words are produced. It is therefore termed the mother of all sounds. In esoteric Buddhism it symbolizes the unity of the whole world. The commentary on the Mahavairochana Sutra says, the A-syllable gate is the king of all mantras. In the 10 stages of mind, Master Kukai quotes the Mahavairochana Sutra. Why is this mantra teaching? Because the principle of the letter A is that all natures or dharmas are fundamentally unborn. End quote. Here, natures or dharmas means samsaric phenomena. From the point of view of ultimate Buddha nature, such phenomena are not real, so they are not actually born. Their birth, development and disappearance are like a magical display. They seem to appear, but they do not really exist. He also said, quote, again, the 5 types of letter A are the mind of the highest enlightenment, that is, based on these letters, sounds issue forth and Buddhism is taught. The Bodhicitta Sastra states, quote, in the minds of all sentient beings there is an element of pure nature. It is likened to one of the 16 phases of the moon, that in which the moon appears brightest. Therefore, a mantra practitioner should, by the means of A-syllable visualization, awaken the inherent brightness within his mind, causing a gradual cleansing and brightening, and a realization of the knowledge of the non-arising of phenomena. The A-syllable as the meaning of the originally non-arisen nature of all dharmas. End quote. In his writing entitled Meaning of Sound, Word and Reality, Kukai said, quote, for what does the sound A stand? It denotes a name word of the Dharmakaya Buddha. Namely, it is sound and word. End quote. In the category of invariant meanings he writes, quote, the sound A is the mother of all letters. It is the essence of all sounds, and it stands for the fountainhead of all-inclusive reality. End quote. In the category of ultimate meanings he writes, quote, the sutra states, the letter A signifies the enlightened mind the gateway to all teachings, non-duality, the goal of all existences, the nature of all existences, freedom, and the Dharmakaya. These are the ultimate meaning of the letter A." End quote. So, as we see above, the name of Amida Buddha, which contains the letter A, described as the mother of all letters, the king of all mantras, Dharmakaya, the fountainhead of all-inclusive reality, the mind of the highest enlightenment, etc., is not just a simple name, nor a samsaric phenomena, but the manifestation of ultimate reality. It is part of the Dharmakaya's compassionate means, which is inseparable from the Dharmakaya of Dharma nature or Buddha nature. This is why Shinran said, quote, "The Nembutsu alone is true and real," end quote. And this is why we conclude that the name of Amida is not empty of itself, but only empty of illusions, blind passions, and anything that is false. Not only that, the name is not empty of itself, but is actually filled with all the qualities of Buddha nature that are revealed through the inner realization of or perfect enlightenment of Amida and all Buddhas. It also contains all the manifestations of Amida and the enlightened ones, and all perfect teachings and authentic Dharma gates. This is why Honen said, "No Buddhist doctrines are excluded from the teaching for birth in the Pure Land." All the merits of Buddhist teachings and practices that lead to enlightenment are included in the name of Amida. So when we say Namo Amida Bu in faith, we fulfill all of them. The length of time needed to explain all the subtleties of Amida's name presented in the above passages by Master Honen would be too much for this simple book, so I will not insist on it any further. However, for us, ordinary people, to be born in the Pure Land, there is no need to understand or believe in all of them, as Honen said at the end of the text, quote, "Nevertheless, the heart of the vows of Amida Buddha does not expect one to believe in all of the above. You will come to receive all beings who simply recite Nembutsu with deep devotion." End quote. Ordinary people do not need to be engineers or know everything about flying technology to travel by planes. In the same way, we do not need to know all the technical and transcendental details of the name of Amida to be saved by him, but simply entrust to him and say his name in faith. The promise of Amida Buddha in his primal vow is easy to understand by everybody. Quote, "Entrust to me, say my name, the Nembutsu, and wish to be born in my land." End quote. Nothing else. No deep understanding about the ultimate nature of the name, the meaning of letter A, or the various teachings of Shingon, Tendai, Sanron, Hosso, etc. mentioned in the above passages. If we just hear the promise of Amida and say his name in faith, that is enough to be taken to the Pure Land at the end of our illusory bodies and discover our Buddha nature there. The name of Amida brings our salvation without us knowing how it works, just like a plane will take us to a destination, even if we are ignorant peasants who know nothing about flying technology. There are 7 important footnotes in this chapter. The first important footnote refers to the 10 repetitions of the name. From the quote, "The 10 repetitions of the name arise from the unsurpassed faith by taking as object the name of Amida Tathagata, of a glorious body of skillful means that comprises immeasurable merits that are true and pure." End quote. Here the number 10 is used to signify that any number of Nembutsu is equally good. The second important footnote refers to the passage which states, "Attention here, please. The name is manifested by Amida from true suchness, or Dharmakaya of Dharma nature. However, the saying of the name on our part does not mean we understand suchness in the here and now, but that we have faith in Amida Tathagata of a glorious body of skillful means, that is, in Amida manifested as Dharmakaya of compassionate means, or Sambhogakaya." The Dharmakaya of Dharma nature is identical with the Dharmakaya referred to in the Trikaya doctrine, and the Dharmakaya of expediency, that is, Dharmakaya as compassionate means, corresponds to the Sambhogakaya or recompense body. Nirmanakaya, or various transformed bodies, are manifested or emanated from Sambhogakaya, and thus we can consider it as part of the Dharmakaya of expediency. The third important footnote explains that bodhisattvas in the Pure Land refer to those who attained enlightenment in the Pure Land and are now Buddhas who manifest as bodhisattvas. For a better understanding of this idea, please read chapter The Qualities of Bodhisattvas in the Audience from my book Commentary on the Sutra on the Buddha of Infinite Life. The fourth important footnote refers to the word Shravaka, which is used in here, not used here with the sense of being a Hinayana follower, but being a close, enlightened disciple of Amida in his Pure Land. The fifth important footnote refers to the Sanron school, which was one of the 6 schools of Nara and one of the 13 schools of China. The Sanron tradition was first transmitted to China by Kumara Rajajiva in the early 5th century, and then introduced into Japan in 625. Sanron literally means 3 treatises, referring to the 3 texts on which the school was based. The 3 treatises are Nagarjuna's Treatise on the Middle Way and Treatise on the 12 Gates, and Aryadeva's 100-verse treatise. The Promise of Amida Buddha, Honen's Path to Bliss, and shown in the Japanese anthology. The 6th important footnote refers to the Hosso school, a Mahayana school, which is one of the 6 schools of Nara and one of the 13 schools of China. The Hosso school is based on the doctrine of mind only as advocated by Asanga, Vasubandhu, and Dharmapala. The main text of the school is the treatise on the attainment of consciousness only, compiled by the 7th century Chinese pilgrim Huanzang. The Hosso tradition was introduced into Japan in 652. The 7th and final important footnote to this chapter refers to the paragraph, quote again, the 5 types of letter A are the mind of the highest enlightened. That is, based on these letters, sounds issue forth and Buddhism is taught. End quote. Here, the 5 types of letter A refers to the 7th and final important footnote to this chapter refers to the 5 types of letter A. These are elucidated in the Maha Vairochana Sutra.